Today we'll learn to build a beautiful, super animated web app step by step using the .cursor rules file. Jigsaw have quite a lot going for it. Everything's animated and just flowing with beautiful animations and everything. It's just a summarization app. That's not the point. We will actually be using a step by step cursor rules file method that I just thought of, which works really well. So this way, you actually define your app in steps incrementally. You don't have to heavily rely on the chat. And also, by the time you're done, you actually have a full description of your app as cursor rules file. The beauty of it is that once you have it in cursor rules, you can actually ask it to generate the full app using all the steps. But if you have ever tried to start a project with a very detailed, complex project plan or description, you'll see that that usually doesn't work out very well, leads to a lot of errors or omissions. But you can try that, but also you can actually, because we have specified that we are step by step, we can actually tell Cursor Composer to build this one step at a time. Let's actually examine how we can do this. I'm going to go ahead and kill the terminal, delete all the files, and create a new composer. Let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we just have the .cursor rules file. We'll take a look at what all it does, but I'm just going to ask you to please implement step number one beautifully and carefully. Let's just say that. And now it should only implement step one. So the beauty of building it like this is that when if you've ever built full stack web apps or any complex app, as you're building it, you'll change your mind maybe, and you'll want to add or remove features. So this actually makes it very convenient. We are building a fast API full stack web app with this, but it's not limited to that. You can just be building any type of app like this, essentially. Okay, so step one is just mainly dealing with header. And let me run this and actually see if it is working. And we can just go back to our application and refresh. Okay, it does. It did not do the rolling echo hive apps, but actually it did this part. And as you see, so it hasn't done it perfectly. So we can ask it again to do it, but it only dealt with the header, even though in our cursor rules file we have the entire description. So this is easy to fix. We can just ask it again because we are asking it to do it step by step. Okay, now this time it actually worked better since we gave it a minimal description. It did it like this, and now when I click on it, as I've mentioned in the steps, it takes the user to my website, echohive.live, where you can find all my LLM-powered app building videos. Okay, so this is the beauty of it. So we just implemented step one. It did do it pretty much as I described. I said each letter for echohive apps will roll into position. So each time you do this, it's going to be a little bit different, but you can actually modify this, right? And now you will have modified step one. And as you see, the step two or step three didn't really bother us. So now we can go ahead and say implement step two carefully and let's say beautifully. And while it's doing that, you can read step two. Step two is after everything in header is in place and sizable, beautiful text, a sizable and beautiful text areas uh, they should appear. Okay, let me fix this. Okay, a sizable, beautiful text area should pop into view. There should be a beautiful sand icon within the text area. A user can submit with enter or click. So we have described some of the functionality. So now let's see if it has actually done it. So first we have this rolling in, then the button appears and the text area where we can just enter, and this is supposed to work. Well, this is just keeps growing. So we can ask it again to implement step two. We can actually do a checkout here since we actually also have modified the step two. But as you can see, it didn't try to do anything about step one or step three. So this is the beauty of it. We can build iteratively. I actually built this one step at a time, and at the very top, I'm giving it the general descriptions, such as we are building a fast API web app, we are using Anime.js, Daisy UI, stuff like that. and just some organizational stuff. Okay, let's see what this update did. Okay, it actually works, but a bit slow. Echo Hive Apps comes along, and then the button, because that's what I said. And after a while, the text. So this should appear more quicker, but now it actually works. As you can see, I can type stuff and it's accepting, but it's not really doing anything. So that brings us to step 3. I will ask it to implement step 3, please. And while it's doing that, in step 3, I'm just asking that we will use an OpenAI API call to GPT-4o to, and I'm just saying that we will use this API call, and this is just a sample API call I got from OpenAI to get the summary of the text area content displayed below the text area in a beautiful and animated way with amazing prominent wild waiting animation while it's processing. Make sure the API only returns summary and nothing else so that it can write the instructions correctly, hopefully. So this is it. And I'll tell you one other trick, which I love to use here in a moment. Okay, so then now, hopefully everything should work. Of course, the timing is a bit off, but essentially we got what we wanted. I'm just going to go ahead and copy some text from here. As a matter of fact, I can just copy this cursor rules file, paste it here, and if all goes well, here we go, we are processing, and then the summary appears. So the implementation you saw earlier, I think was better, but that was also my first try. So uh, building it iteratively, you can go step by step. And at the end of the day, you can have your entire project described in the cursor rules file. This way you can change it, modify the steps, and you can also ask by creating a new composer. Let's go ahead and delete these real quick. And we can ask, please implement all the steps carefully in full. Let's say in full. So we can also do this. Although this is a less reliable way of doing this. Let's see how this goes. And while this is building, I'd like to tell you that my rules for I really enjoy this because I don't like to build really complex cursor rules file or anything like that I could carry around with me. But when anytime something becomes a bit repetitive for me, I just put in the rules for I still have the usage of that cursor rules file turned on. So whatever you put it here from your settings in general will carry on with to into um, any instance of cursor. Here I have the kind of stuff that I think just overall works. You have term color printing, which is going to be colorful printing every step of the way to inform the user. Every time we use with open to read or write files to use UTF-8 encoding, it's a big deal. This one, major variables should be all caps variables at the top. So we don't have any variables, but if it does, now it has a tendency to do that, which is very preferable for me. The model name, so it doesn't change the model names, or to use try and accept blocks, separations and concerns when implementing. For API keys, we use system variables and not .env. I mean, I prefer to do it this way. And then create and update requirements without version numbers. I'll actually paste this below as well. You can find my cursor rules file along with this, the rules for AI that I use so far, and also this cursor rules file for this particular project we're building. So now let's go ahead and run this. And as we're seeing, it did create the all caps variables up here, and it did not confuse the model name. That's because of the rules for AI that we are using. So let's see if it actually was able to build it in one go. Yeah, Echo Hive Apps, and then the button, which links to our website. We go back here. Let's look at it again. And then disappears in a nice and beautiful way. And when we submit, we have a rating animation, which can be better. And then the summary comes up. So, yeah, I highly recommend it. You just build your .cursor rules file step by step. The way I did it is actually, I just built the first step. It was something like this. And then I take a look at it so you can really take your time to make it your own. And then I added step 2 and step 3, and I build it iteratively like that. Again, the beauty of this is that you have everything in here. If you do enjoy my content, do check out my website, and find my other projects. I have over 350. And if you do decide to become a patron, you'll have access to all the project files for each one of my projects, also my 1000x cursor course with chapters and 19 hours of content. I highly recommend it if you enjoy coding with cursor, which I think, in my opinion, still is the best. I think they're preparing a big update. I'm really excited for it. So I hope you found this useful. Thank you for watching. I would like to take a moment to talk about the benefits of becoming a patron. As some of you may know, in the last year and a half, I've spent 3,000 hours, over 300 projects as a patron. You will have access to all the code files so you can get inspiration and iterate quickly. Another benefit is that you'll have access to all my courses. And my most recent and most proud one, the 1000x Masterclass, teaching what I've learned on how to code fast and efficiently. Also the Streamlit course and the Fast API course. In my Patreon, I also have tiers in which you can connect with me one-on-one. Check those out as well.
Now, listen to me. I've been trying to code, and I like coding. The fact that I can code and make things happen, but how do I do it? I mean, fast with AI. I heard about it. It's easy. So I came across 1000x cursor course. And that's great, it just made everything super silky smooth. It just worked. I'm telling you.
1000x your coding.